South African. Coombs, Crook, Bramald and North are the three quarters. Longo and Mark Conway the halfbacks. Forey, Cox, Lingard, Haig, Jordan and Darks the back three, and the two substitutes Terry McAllister and Glenn Bell. The Cougar side led by Daryl Powell, Matt Foster at full back in the absence of Andre Stoop and Keith Dixon. Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irving, Jason Critchley, Daryl Powell and Chris Robinson, and the forwards Grant Dory, Phil Cantillon, Shane Tapia, Darren Fleary, Andy Delaney, Martin Woodall who's forward, and the substitutes David Larder and Joe Burry. Referee Mr Gilmore, who comes from Workington, and the late kick-off because of the crowds being outside the ground because Leeds United are at home, and the Keighley fans in particular had a few problems in making the journey here. Keighley going to play from right to left as we look at the field. And fairly obvious there's a massive contingent of Cougar fans here this evening. Kick-off 8:20, and the touch judge getting a round of applause for carrying off the young Cougar mascot. Chris Robinson about to kick off, if and when we get a ball. And Mr Gilmore, because of this late kick-off, going to be very, very late indeed back into Cumbria this evening. At last, and the kick-off coming, and Chris Robinson taking the kick-off. Going deep, taken by Mark Conway. And Dewsbury inside their own 20-metre area. Dewsbury, as you'd imagine, driving the ball in these early moments. Darren Fleary making the tackle back after the cartilage operation. Only been out of action for a month or so. Extraordinary how times differ. Certainly not that many years ago, cartilage was a 3-month operation. Ball going back to Mark Conway. Conway with the kick over the top. Matt Foster. Ball bouncing well for him, and Matt Foster inside his own 20-metre area, and noticeable not too many Cougars at the moment back in position. Martin Wood getting back there eventually and putting the ball in field. Andy Ayres centre of the field on his own 20-metre line. Andy Delaney playing his first game of this season, a local lad, lives not too far away from the ground here. And Grant Dory making the drive. The Keighley fans not too happy about the tackle, but play being allowed to go on. And this time Dewsbury too keen, the penalty kick given to the Cougars, and Simon Irving about to take the kick. Vast difference from when Keighley came here last year. Got a blade of grass on the field, atrocious conditions. Tonight, green grass. Quite hard, ideal for playing open rugby. Daryl Powell puts the ball back to Dory, but Dory well shepherded by 3 Dewsbury men. Good short ball to Chris Robinson. Robinson though into trouble. Again, the Keighley fans not too happy, and Daryl Powell taking people on. 20-metre line of Dewsbury. Simon Irving putting the left-footed kick over the top. Well taken by the fullback, Van Wyk. I think it might be his first game for Dewsbury, the South African, and the ball has been lost, a knock-on, but the referee has missed it totally. And Dewsbury in possession just outside their own 20-metre line. 0-0, obviously the score, just been playing a few minutes. Cougars getting stuck in at the tackling front. Going to have to do, because any team coached by Tony Fisher is going to be a hard physical side. Again, the kick down by Mark Conway. Again, taken by Matt Foster. And Matt Foster just doing the right thing, holding on to the ball. Simon Irving, an acting halfback, moves it to Andy Ayres, brings it out to Jason Critchley. Critchley coming back in field, gets the ball out to Phil Cantillon. Phil Cantillon, the boy from Wigan, well tackled. Shane Tapar coming up, but no pass coming out of the arms of Cantillon. Chris Robinson to Cantillon, moves the ball out to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres up to the halfway line, centre of the field. Powell to Dury. Dury having no option than to go on his own. Nobody at acting halfback. There is no one there at acting halfback. That was not the best of play by the Cougars, despite the fact that Darryl Powell was shouting for people to get into position. And Powell, who had absolutely no option than to go on his own. The bomb by Robinson. Useful kick. Fleary racing after it. The ball's gone loose. Can the Cougars get there? In fact, it luckily, as far as Dewsbury concerned, goes across the face of the posts and is gathered by a Dewsbury player. And I'm sure that the bomb that Keighley put up, knocked on by the fullback Van Wyk, and that could well be the first of a good few. Knock on by Dewsbury. And the Dewsbury man also injured. It is in fact young North on the wing who's received a bang. All well as far as Dewsbury concerned. Keighley obviously with the ball and the head. Steam rising from the scrimmage as it forms. And the penalty kick being given to Keighley. Whether Simon Irving will have a shot at goal or whether Darryl Powell will. In fact, Simon Irving coming across and going to put the ball into touch. No error. Perfect kick. A couple of metres away from the try line. Shane Tapar, the first man to have a go, turns round and then tries to throw himself at the line. Chris Robinson to Grant Dury. Grant Dury powering his way forward. Grant Dury still struggling away. Looked for a moment as they got away from the defenders. The ball to Powell. Powell gets the ball away to Fleary. Is it the tries there for the Cougars? The first try made by Darryl Powell. Darren Fleary on his return to the game scores the first try and the Cougars go in the lead 4-0. Six and a half minutes of play. Fleary with the try. Mind you look fed on this wire though. Simon Irving with the kick at goal. Just taking the 2 or 3 paces back. Then it will be the half pace to the left. And in the meantime, Grant Dury receiving treatment out in the middle of the park. And Simon Irving all set. Cougars 4-0 in the lead. And Irving coming up The kick is good, so the Cougars 6-0 in the lead. Kick off by Mark Conway from the halfway line. Simon Irving doing a bit of soccer play and trapping the ball, virtually trapping it dead and then picking the ball up and just being more than content to die with the ball. Jason Critchley. 5 metres outside his own 20-metre line. Daryl Powell looking for work, struggling forward. Again, the crowd on the far side not very happy. Shane Tapia doing well, making the drive. Short of the halfway line. Phil Cantillon at acting halfback. Gets it back to Martin Wood. Martin Wood, centre of the field, and the sixth tackle indicated by the referee, Mr. Gilmore. Kick eventually taken by the South African boy playing at full-back. Dewsbury deep inside their own half. Strong tackling by the Cougars in the lead by 6-0. Bad play by South African there, I think, number 8, Forey. Obviously hadn't read the play and got in the way rather than help the play. And Simon Irving for a moment thinking of having a shot at goal, and in fact confirmation that he is about to have a kick at goal. Simon Irving then with the shot at goal, around about 30 metres out, which is about 38 yards I think. Hope no one checks on me there. But Simon Irving virtually in front of the post, and obviously feeling he can put this through the post to make it 8-0. 6-0 at the moment, remember, the Cougars in the lead. And Irving with the kick. The kick is good, and the Cougars go 8-0 in the lead after 10 minutes. Apologies incidentally to the people watching the video, because we have a problem here. The position we've been given, there's a girder directly in front, and we are having to do a bit of dodging here, there and everywhere. Hope it doesn't spoil your enjoyment of the game. And it's Martin Wood taking the ball and getting to the 20-metre line. Jason Critchley losing a couple of yards, a couple of metres, whatever. And Daryl Powell coming in bravely. Phil Cantillon calling the moves. The forwards queuing up to get to the ball, and it's Shane Tapia. Shane Tapia played so well in the last few games. Cougars just short of the halfway line, the sixth tackle indicated by the referee. And Chris Robinson doing well, puts the kick over the top. Going to be too hard, going to go touching goal, the touch judge confirming that, and the Cougars still with that 8-0 lead. 11 minutes gone. Good tackling by Keighley, Andy Delaney and Simon Irving very involved then. And the ball going wide, Darren Flaherty getting across. Good to see Darren Flaherty back in the fold, and the kick deep from Mark Conway. Good kick. Tremendously good kick. 10-metre scrimmage, and the Cougars coming back inside their own 20-metre area. Mark Conway must have gained fully 60, 65 yards there with that kick. Played at Wakefield Trinity, of course. Played at Headingley as well. Looked at one stage as though would make the highest grade, and somehow or other seems to have not quite managed to achieve everything he should have done. Martin Wood as well does what a forward should do in this day and age, makes ground. Delaney going forward. It's exactly what Phil Larder will have told him to do. And Phil Cantillon moving the ball out wide. Darren Flaherty. 8 metres away from the halfway line. And this time it's Grant Dory, long ball out to Critchley. Critchley still going forward. Can't get the ball inside. Does well. Gets it to Grant Dory. Grant Dory looking to part in field. 6 tackle indicated by the referee. And the ball coming to Chris Robinson. Puts up the bomb. The knock on again. The Cougars going forward. The full-back had 2 bombs to contend with and made a dreadful hash of both of them. And Andy Delaney powering his way forward. Andy Delaney still going for the line. Darrell Powell got people outside him, not the best of passes perhaps, but eventually Matt Foster taking it. But the Cougars with 3 passes, losing a few yards, and Simon Irving getting it to Darrell Powell. Darrell Powell again half evades the defender but can't get the pass in field, and Cantillon to Chris Robinson to Grant Dory. Grant Dory goes on his own. Phil Cantillon. 2 tackles to go, I think, and the ball being played, coming out to Darrell Powell. Darrell Powell to Irving. Irving going for the line, just couldn't stretch, and the ball played. Well, looked to me as though the Dewsbury man was offside there, but the referee said play on, and Dewsbury are in possession and have to get themselves away from that danger area. 8-0, remember, the Cougars in the lead. 15 minutes of play gone. And a strong tackle by Nick Pinkney, I think it was, over on the far side. The kick over the top. Matt Foster taking it inside his own 20-metre area, coming racing forward. Andy Ayres sensibly trailing him, but Matt Foster did well. Made 15, 20 yards. Andy Ayres gives a half dummy, goes on his own, gets just short of the halfway line before he's stopped. Phil Cantillon gets it to Delaney. Delaney again gets through the first tackle inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Darren Flaherty, wee bit of mist appearing on the far side of the field. And the ball to Powell. Powell puts a beautiful ball into Tapia. Tapia going forward. 20-metre line. Last tackle indicated by the referee. Chris Robinson. The ball being knocked down. The referee saying that no knock on and that play is allowed to go on, and the penalty kick, I think, being given to Dewsbury. In fact, the referee saying a knock-on. Obviously, the touch judge had indicated the knock-on. I certainly felt it was one, but the referee seemed to allow play to go on. But the touch judge has indicated the knock-on. And in fact, 1 or 2 of the Cougars players giving a little bit of ironical applause there. Oh. The referee has actually given feeding there, which is the most inexplicable decision I've seen this season, going by the way scrimmages have been formed. However, Dewsbury taking advantage, going inside the Cougars' half of the field. Shane Tapia in at the tackle, helped by Andy Delaney. Good tackling by Keighley. Jason Critchley did a good job, recognised by Grant Dury. David Longo throwing a punch rather stupidly, and one or two of the Cougars boys wanting to retaliate, which isn't perhaps the wisest thing to do. Simon Irving about to put the ball hopefully into touch. 19 minutes of play gone. Keighley in the lead 8-0. Grant Dury doing well, making yardage. Ball in field to Robinson, to Tapia. Tapia just content to take three players out. Daryl Powell going on his own. Gets the ball back to Delaney. Delaney inside the Dewsbury 20-metre area. Matt Foster, could be argued, took the wrong option, but held on to the ball. And Chris Robinson going to move the ball, I would imagine, out wide. Martin Wood doing well. Martin Wood still going forward. Martin Wood underneath the shadow of the Dewsbury post. Phil Camplon anxious to get on with the game. Chris Robinson to Daryl Powell. Powell puts the kick through. Delaney races after it. And in fact, the penalty kick being given, I imagine, for offside. Delaney made the despairing dive to try and touch down for the try, but the referee obviously giving the offside decision. Good kick by Mark Conway. Dewsbury then in possession. Strong tackle by Simon Irving. But Dewsbury trying to make play and trying to come through. Daryl Powell in at the tackle. Knock on. Given by the crowd in the popular stand, I think, as much as anything. Credit to Martin Wood for the tackle. And the Cougars still with that 8-0 lead. Nick Pinkney, first time we've really seen him in possession. Martin Wood. Martin Wood gives a dummy. Martin Wood still going forward. Just short of the 20-metre line. Chris Robinson got players all the way outside him. Powell moving the long ball out to Pinkney. Andy Delaney. Nick Pinkney, can Pinkney make it to the line? Pinkney held up just short. Certainly Tapia did tremendously well, as did Daryl Powell, and the ball going wide to Martin Wood gets the ball back in field. Chris Robinson puts the kick through. People racing after it. The ball's come back off. The ball eventually going dead. Certainly knock-ons galore. Eventually the ball went dead. And Dewsbury again making a dreadful hash of the kick through. And Keighley perhaps a little bit unfortunate not to take full advantage of it. Chris Robinson gives it to Darren Fleury. Darren Fleury, who of course played for Dewsbury before coming to the Cougars. Martin Wood having a strong game. Good strong tackle this time. Stops him inside the Dewsbury 20-metre area. Ball back to Darrell Powell. Powell gives it to Pinkney. Pinkney does well. Gets the ball back to Canthlon. Canthlon tackled 5 metres inside the Simon Irving. Straight from the acting halfback situation. Desperately trying to play the ball. Darrell Powell moving it to Dury. Dury going through. Dury scores the try. Oh, so easy. Darrell Powell giving the pass and Grant Dury going in for the try. 25 minutes gone. The Cougars 12-0 in the lead. Simon Irving with the kick at goal. Simon Irving about to kick at goal. Is that right now? Simon Irving successful with that conversion. So they score 14-0 in favour of the Cougars. Ball going infield to Martin Wood. Martin Wood making progress every time he gets the ball, and this time Phil Canthlon from acting halfbacks. Phil Canthlon up to the halfway line. Oh, and Nick Pinkney knocks on, perhaps not the best of passes. Pinkney in at the tackle. Not far away from the half-hour mark here, and the Cougars 14-0 in the lead. Conway moving it to Longo. And Dewsbury virtually in the centre of the field when the referee shouts held. Good defensive work by the Cougars, but Dewsbury managing to get the ball back in field. 6 tackle indicated. Shane Tapire and Andy Delaney, the men who got in at the tackle. Going to see the bomb. That one over the back of the post, and Matt Foster more than content, quite rightly so, to just watch it go into the crowd at the back of the sticks. Cantillon getting it to Andy Ayres, and Andy Ayres. Cantillon again. Certainly doing well in his first season of senior rugby, Phil Cantillon. Robinson gets away from one defender but runs into the middle of another three. Darryl Powell, Simon Irving to Jason Critchley. Critchley coming in field, gets the ball back to Powell. Good running rugby by the Cougars. Long ball out. Martin Wood. Critchley looking for the gap. Gets it to Fleury. Fleury's powering his way forward. Referee signifying the sixth tackle. The ball coming to Martin Wood, and Martin Wood puts the kick over the top. Good kick. Martin Wood racing after it. Takes the man who collected the ball and gets a well-earned round of applause from the Cougar fans in the popular side. Half an hour of the game gone, and the Cougars 14-0 in the lead. Back inside the Dewsbury 20-metre area where they have been for so much of the game. And Dewsbury trying desperately to get away, but to date haven't made a break of any magnitude. Darren Fleury doing well to hold on, sixth tackle. Conway, the man who'll put the big boot in. Matt Foster not collecting the ball, but the referee signifying it went back, and he being allowed to play on. And David Larder coming on as a substitute. And in fact, Andy Delaney, the man who's gone off. David Larder hasn't played for a few weeks. Coming in, running onto the ball and trying to make progress. Finding it hard work in view of the stifling tackle, and Darryl Powell gets it to Larder. Larder to Simon Irving. Irving out to Critchley. Critchley going down the touchline side, does well. Gets the ball in field. The referee signifies forward pass, and the promising move comes to nothing. Going to be a substitution by Dewsbury as well. Glenn Bell, the man who will be coming on to try and stiffen the forwards up. I think it's the big South African Fury who's coming off the field, and the Cougars at 14-0 in the lead. 31 minutes gone, the penalty kick being given to Dewsbury.
Substitution number 15, Glenn Bell, replaces number 8, Tim Bray.
Glenn Bell making an immediate impact. Mark Conway moving the ball, and number 10 Lingard making a bit of progress inside the Cougars' half of the field. Dewsbury in possession, 3 tackles to go, moving the ball out wide. David Larder misses his tackle, the ball goes in field, and the man waiting for it, rather gratefully I suspect, Shane Tapire, the man who passed it the loose forward darts. Matt Foster running into the embracing arms of 2 men, Martin Wood. Grant Dory, scorer of the last try, having a powerful game, gets short of the halfway line. This time Darryl Powell does well. gives a dummy, then slips the ball in field to Cantillon, but Dewsbury players had read the play, and it's Darrell Powell with a long kick down, finds touch in the corner, gives his forwards breathing space, and also gains an enormous amount of yardage. Keighley could do with one against the head here. Dewsbury moving the ball out wide, Nick Pinkney getting into the tackle, but Dewsbury still coming forward, and Dewsbury best attack of the half so far. Good tackle by David Larder, I think, just short of the halfway line. Glenn Bell coming forward. Tremendous tackle by Darrell Powell. That really did stop the man dead in his tracks. Longo does well. Dewsbury for the first time this half looking dangerous. 6 tackle indicated. Conway putting the ball away, the ball's gone to Glenn Bell. Glenn Bell surely knocked on, surely the Keighley will get the advantage. Referee saying that that was in fact the 6th tackle. Glenn Bell did knock on despite his protests, and Grant Dory just content for the time being to allow play to be halted and wait for the ball to come to him. Matthew Foster just over the halfway line inside Dewsbury territory. Phil Cantillon to Shane Tapia, but the pass given us forward, so it will be a scrum down, advantage to Dewsbury. And 5 minutes to go to half time. The mist that was gathering in the far left hand corner seems to have dispersed. And certainly a perfectly clear evening all the way around the ground now. Simon Irving coming in and tackling Van Wyk, the fullback. Play coming again to the short side. Shane Tapia very involved on the defensive side. Mark Conway getting it back, but Dewsbury, as I said a few moments ago, having their best spell of the first half. Left to Glenn Bell. Good tackle by David Larder, down at his ankles. In fact, it was Phil Cantillon. My apologies to Phil Cantillon, but the ball coming wide. Longo putting the kick through. Matt Foster's going to have to get across quickly. Does so well, not only does it, but drops on the ball and manages to stay in the field of play. Jason Critchley running forward. Jason Critchley does well. Again, the crowd on the far side saw something that certainly we couldn't see. Andy Ayres up to the 20-metre line. Darren Fleury having a tilt. Darren Fleury holding on to the ball. Good kick by Robinson, the fullback underneath it, makes a dreadful hash of it again. Luckily for him, the referee signifies that the ball had gone backwards way and was allowed to play on. And Martin Wood, up very quickly in support, knocks him down inside the Dewsbury half of the field. It's 3.5 minutes or so to go to the final hooter. Or the half-time hooter, should I say, and the Cougars still 14-0 in the lead. And Conway putting the ball in. Again, Tapia and Grant Dory very involved in the defensive work. Ball going left, put in field. Strong tackle by Darrell Powell. 6 tackle indicated. No doubt we'll see the kick over the top by Mark Conway. The ball going to Conway, and that left boot puts the ball through. And Matt Foster quite rightly allows it to go dead. Gives his team that breathing space. Means also they can bring the ball up to the 20-metre line for the short tap. Two wingmen working hard, coming in. First of all, Critchley and then Andy Ayres. And then the ball out to Martin Wood. Martin Wood fighting his way literally to within sight of the halfway line. 14-0, the Cougars in the lead. Darryl Powell, long ball out to Simon Irving. Critchley should have taken it, but one of those unfortunate things. Dewsbury in possession then for the Glenn Bell as well. Dewsbury moving the ball across. Good tackle by Martin Wood. 10 metres inside the Cougars' half of the field. 3 tackles to go, and Dewsbury launching an attack. Dewsbury still attacking. Davin Fleury. The ball's gone loose, picked up by the Cougars. Chris Robinson, all he can do is run it away. Couple of minutes to the half-time hooter. Simon Irving going from acting halfback. David Larder well tackled. Phil Cantillon from acting halfback does well. Chris Robinson up to the halfway line, gets the ball to Cantillon. Cantillon moves it to Darryl Powell. Darryl Powell gets the ball back. Oh, and Simon Irving makes a hash of it this time. Well, twice on this left-hand side we've seen Jason Critchley knock on from not too bad a pass, and now Simon Irving, the skipper. That's the way of the game, and I suppose in professional sport you just have to get on with things. At least the Cougars have that 14-0 lead. Not too far away from the half-time hooter. Can't imagine there's going to be that much extra time. Try by Dewsbury. Matthew Foster didn't collect the ball, and Dewsbury kicked the ball through, raced after it and got in at the corner. A good kick through. Matt Foster bravely dived at it, but unfortunately couldn't collect the rolling ball. And Dewsbury in the final minutes of this first half going for their first points of the evening. £14-4 then the score here at the new Crown Flat Stadium. Mark Conway will be the man to take the kick from the touchline side. I think the scorer was North, but not 100% sure. Certainly there were 2 players raced after it. Matt Foster dived on the ball and for a moment looked as though he'd managed to save it, but it came out of his arms, was kicked forward, and Dewsbury virtually unopposed as they won the race to the try line. Good kick by Conway, so the half-time hooter, I think, has gone. The 2 teams come off, and the scoreline at half-time 14-6 in favour of the Cougars. I'm still not going to finish till 5 to 10.
You love late games.
I hate them. 14-6 then, the scoreline here at the New Crown Flat Stadium in favour of the Cougars, and the kick-off just taken. And the Ayres taking it at the second attempt, tackled inside his own 20-metre area. Chris Robinson, Wood being used as the foil, Darren Ferry being used as the bulldozer, and still inside the Cougars 20-metre area. One or two shouts of obstruction from down below me, and I think perhaps Daryl Powell a little bit relieved that it wasn't actually given, and the Cougars at the moment looking a little bit 6 and 7 around the acting halfback area. Six tackle indicated. Chris Robinson getting the kick in, safely taken by Dewsbury, and Shane Tapire getting into the tackle. Coombs, the man who made the initial run, and it's Dewsbury still in possession of the ball, 10 metres inside their own half. Daryl Powell doing well. Tackle on young Haig. Penalty kick being given to Dewsbury, and the Cougars going to have to weather the initial storm from Dewsbury. Dewsbury was who, on the stroke of half-time, had a try and a goal to narrow the deficit to 14-6. Cougars looking to be cruising it at 14-0, then getting a nasty shock in the last second of the first half. Cougars offside. Longo moving the ball out. And the Ayres making the wingman come back in field, but Dewsbury inside the Keighley 20-metre area. The crowd shouting for a forward pass, but the referee allowing play to go on, and Jordan getting close to the line. Knock on. Keighley with the ball. Nick Pinkney allowed the advantage. Martin Wood making the drive, but certainly at the moment the Cougars not looking to be quite together. Daryl Powell, long ball, beautifully taken, inside pass. Critchley does well. Gets the ball away to Powell. Powell, realising that the Dewsbury boys were coming on top of him quickly, managed to steal himself and take the tackle, and this time it's Shane Tapire. Grant Dury making a few yards, but the Cougars still inside, deep inside their own half. Darren Flaherty loses the ball, manages to regather it, but the knock-on given by the referee. And the Ayres with a questioning look at the touch judge, suggesting that it was knocked out of the hand, but the referee totally ignoring it. And bad news as far as Keith are concerned, in that Grant Dury is down on one knee, the physio on to see him. Play eventually stopped. Grant Dury, fortunately okay. Mark Conway to put the ball into the scrum. Longo moving it out wide. Matt Foster in very, very quickly to stop Bramald making any progress. But Dewsbury, at the moment, playing with the ball and looking dangerous. Conway, long ball, good tackle. Well, I would have thought a knock-on was given, but the referee hasn't given it. Looked at the touch judge, and the touch judge totally ignored him. Glenn Bell looking to part out of the tackle, and Phil Cantillon denying him that privilege. Grant Dury also there. Longo comes inside. Shane Tapire wraps him up. Still holding on to him, Shane Tapar. 6 tackle indicated by the referee. Matt Foster going to have to look for the bomb. Conway going to put the long ball out. Well, that must be the worst pass of the evening. Conway, realising everybody was waiting for the kick, decided to move the ball out wide, and the pass dreadfully astray. Darren Flair is struggling forward. Cougars 14-6 in the lead, and Keighley getting the penalty kick. Martin Wood anxious to get on with it. Good kick by Martin Wood, finds touch 10 metres inside the Dewsbury half. Darren Flaherty making progress. Apologies again for the girder that gets in the way of our video camera. Shane Tapar going forward, just short of the Dewsbury 20-metre line. Chris Robinson gets it to Martin Wood. Martin Wood looking to go through a few bodies. Glenn Bell taking him. Chris Robinson to Grant Dory. Grant Dory struggling on, can't get the inside pass. David Larder was looking for it, but so too were the Dewsbury defenders, and this time it's Daryl Powell. Daryl Powell struggling through. Daryl Powell scores the try. The Cougars go further into the lead, 18 points to 6. And Daryl Powell takes 3 men with him to score the try. 5 minutes gone of the second half, and the Cougars go 18-6 in the lead. Simon Irving going to take the kick at goal any moment now. Quite rightly takes his time, poises himself. Again, those 2 paces to the left. A long, hard look at the posts. And the Cougars fans behind the posts will let us know very, very quickly whether it's good. And in fact, the crowd told us it was good. And Simon Irving makes it 20 points to 6 to the Cougars. Seven minutes gone of the second half, and the Cougars 20 points to 6 in the lead. Daryl Powell, the man who's opened the scoring in the second half, and Mark Conway, the man who puts the big kick down. Fleary taking the ball. Fleary still going forward. Ball in field to Robinson, to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres, good ball out. Cougars powering forward. Penalty kick given to Keighley. Simon Irving will put it into touch. Does so successfully, and Phil Cantillon infield to Darren Fleary. Again, apologies for the girder, which is getting in our way, but play is going on out there in the middle of the field, and Shane Tapia not too far away from the Dewsbury 20-metre line. Chris Robinson on the dummy move. Chris Robinson can't get the ball in field. Martin Wood was coming racing up. Phil Cantillon moving it left to Grant Dory. Grant Dory gives that step inside. 18 metres or so away from the try line, and the Cougars 20 points to 6 in the lead. And Daryl Powell with the ball. Daryl Powell still powering forward. 6 tackle indicated by the referee. Kick into touch. A nice gesture out there as David Longo and Chris Robinson. Robinson put the kick through. David Longo tackled him minutes after the ball had gone, and they both just put their arms around each other, give a big smile and get on with the play. Darryl Powell again very strong at the tackle, and the ball being moved out wide. And good to notice that 3 Cougars men had got across. Shane Tapar, one of them, and Shane Tapar in again at the tackle. Penalty kick to Dewsbury. And a good long kick by Dewsbury takes them deep inside the Keighley half of the field. 20 points to 6. Keighley in the lead, and needing to keep Dewsbury out from scoring again.
Substitution Dewsbury number 14, Aaron McAllister replaces number 12, Trent Jordan.
McAllister come on for Jordan for Dewsbury. Good tackle by David Larder, finished by Grant Dury, and this time Conway tries to give that dummy and go on his own. 2 more tackles to go. Shane Tapar again involved at the tackle, and David Longo moving the ball out wide. Nick Pinkney in at the tackle, does well to tackle his opposite number, Bramald, and the last tackle coming up. Kick over the top, and David Longo, I think, must have had ambitions of putting that many a mile wide. Phil Canthlon going on his own. Well, the Keighley fans by no means happy about the tackle by Glenn Bell, but the referee did have a look at both touch judges, and neither of them gave him any assistance, and he quite honestly allowed play to go on with a good tackle on Shane Tapar. Grant Dury does well to get the ball to Wood. Wood, not the best of passes. Simon Irving retrieves it, puts the kick through. Jason Critchley can't boot the ball on as he'd hoped to do, and a little bit of scrappy play comes to nothing, and it's a scrum down 5 metres inside the Keighley half with the advantage to Dewsbury. And the score remaining 20 points to 6. Nick Pinkney and at the tackle on Bramald. This time it's David Longo, Martin Wood and Daz Flaherty both waiting for him. Perfect evening, not too cold, and Darren Flaherty doing well to get across and tackle the hooker Cox. Conway holding the ball in one hand, still going forward. Reverse pass, might be a possibility of a Dewsbury try here. Dewsbury moving the ball well, the ball coming out wide. Strong tackle by Nick Pinkney. Still though, 2 tackles to go. David Longo putting the short kick through. Chris Robinson gets it at the second attempt, and any hopes Dewsbury had of scoring points nullified by that drop by Chris Robinson. Martin Wood gives a dummy and comes through the gap. Robinson got Matt Foster outside him, and Matt Foster going on his own, but the penalty kick being given to Keighley. The ball into touch on the Birch on the halfway line, and Grant Dury taking play to the halfway line before he's eventually stopped. Referee telling Dewsbury to get 10 metres. Chris Robinson gives it to Tapia. Must admit how good it's been to see Shane Tapia playing so many games this season after the horrible injury problems he had last year. And a great ball by Daryl Powell sees David Larder make a few yards. Chris Robinson. Martin Wood. Chris Robinson got the ball. Still going forward. Short ball out. The ball still going to Powell. Powell gives the dummy. Comes infield, or tries to come infield. Couldn't get the ball to Phil Cantlon. And the referee signifying the sixth tackle. Robinson got players outside him. Nick Pinckney. I can only think that Pinckney hadn't realised it was the sixth tackle, but elected to go on his own and pay the penalty. And in the meantime, David Longo, suffering from a leg injury, and Phil Cantlon doing well to stop his opposite number, Cox, making any progress. Then Bell, stopped by a double tackle by the front row to Pyre and Dury. And Dewsbury inside their own half. Conway putting a kick through. Matt Foster going to have to take it. Stops it with his foot first to make sure over the 20-metre line, and then into a triple tackle. Phil Cantlon already there at acting halfback. Jason Critchley doing a bit of the forwards work, and this time David Larder. And the referee looking at the touch judge, who this time did help him by giving the forward pass, and I don't think even the Keighley fans can complain at that decision. Ball's gone loose. Keighley are in possession. Simon Irving trying desperately to get away. Did so well. Good tackle. Then collected the ball. And Chris Robinson moving it wide to Pinckney. Pinckney going through. Nick Pinckney trying desperately to get through the Dewsbury defenders. Shane Tapia. And it's Chris Robinson moving it wide to Powell. Powell to Wood. Wood back to Fleary. Fleary going forward, but the tackling short and sound. Wood moving it quickly. Chris Robinson got Daryl Powell with him. Daryl Powell looking for the break. Can't make it. Phil Cantlon, the six tackles being indicated by the referee. Robinson puts up the bomb. Comes after it. The ball's gone loose. Dewsbury managed to regather it. It was the wingman North who took it, and they now have 6 tackles, 5 tackles to replay. Full-back Van Eyck, the man who took that one. Good tackle by Wood. That was a good tackle on the number 10 Lingard. Ball in field to Glenn Bell, New Zealander, who's been over here for quite a while. Started at Featherstone Rovers. I think Grant Dory, it looks as though he's hurt, is it? I think it's Grant Dory, I'm not 100% sure. Certainly a problem for one of them, and Mark Conway putting the kick down, which is not going to find touch. Foster picking it up, and Ronnie Barrett and son Michael Barrett on the field, but the referee wisely stopping the clock to see who's injured. Joe Berry. Virtually midway through this second half, Keighley in the lead by 20 points to 6. And obviously the injury down below us looking as though it might be a bad one. It is Grant Dory, in fact, confirmation there. Certainly will have to be serious for him to come off the park. Both Andy Delaney and Joe Burry limbering up on the touchline side, and Grant Dorey getting up. Looks as though in fact he's going to continue playing. Probably just try to run it off, and then we'll see a substitution. Ricky Winterbottom indicating something or other down there, and Andy Delaney is coming back on the field in the place of Darren Fleury. Darren Fleury had a good workout after his injury problems, and Shane Tapia making progress towards the centre of the field. Chris Robinson, Martin Wood, the man who comes running onto the ball, stopped on the halfway line. Andy Delaney just come on the field, half breaks the tackle, did well. Ball going left to Darryl Powell. Chris Robinson does well to pick it up, gets it to Delaney. Delaney tried to make the gap. David Larder with a huge bomb. Players racing after it, and he misses it again. Larder gets the ball out. Nick Pinkney's in for the try. David Larder put up the bomb, was there to take the ball when the full-back, in fact it wasn't the full-back, it was the wingman who made the hash. The ball came out to Pinkney, and Pinkney scored the try. 24-6. The Cougars on their way to retaining top spot, and the good news a few moments ago that Batley have drawn with Salford at 12 points each. A Pinkney try then.
Shooting by scorer at number 3, Nick Pinkney.
(24-6), the try by Pinkney, and the credit to David Larder. A huge bomb, a hash by the Dewsbury defenders. David Larder, following his own kick-up, took the ball, flicked it out, and Nick Pinkney went in for the try. Grant Dorey, to my left, just receiving a bit of treatment, but going to stay on the field. And directly below us, Simon Irving, taking his time. Again, the 2 steps to the left. Just waiting to come up and take the kick at goal. Oh, and an absolute beauty. Brilliant kick by Simon Irving, and the Cougars go 26 points to 6 in the lead. Kick-off by Dewsbury, taken by Robinson. Andy Delaney. Penalty kick given to Keighley. Head-high tackle by Dewsbury, and the referee surely has to take sterner action than this in the not-too-distant future. In the meantime, Martin Wood, wanting to get on with the job, puts the ball into touch inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Cantlon to Shane Tapia. Andrew Delaney. Darryl Powell gives it to Wood. Wood going through. 20-metre line, centre of the field. Cantlon get it to Robinson. Robinson gives a quick shimmy. Robinson going through. 10 metres away from the try line. The ball coming out to Darryl Powell. Darryl Powell looking to hold people up and then let the ball go. Chris Robinson. Critchley. But I think the referee had given a forward pass anyway. Referee had given the forward pass. And Keighley having to do a stint of tackling. 26-6 in the lead. Quarter an hour of ordinary play to go. Just been the one stoppage for that injury to Grant Dury. Good tackling by Martin Wood and Nick Pinkney. Mark Conway moving it to Longo. Longo looking up, sees space, puts the ball into what he thought was space, and Matt Foster, acting as auxiliary fullback, does well, takes the ball and gains an invaluable 15 yards. Andy Ayres, ever willing, coming in for the ball again. Phil Cantillon taking play inside the Dewsbury half of the field. Oh, great ball by Daryl Powell. Irving's going, gets the ball in field. And the Cougars still fighting their way forward. Jason Critchley just that bit unforced, so the ball's got to come wide quickly. Daryl Powell moving it out to Pinkney. Pinkney gets it to Matt Foster. Matt Foster doesn't score the try. The referee say he was in touch. Matt Foster did well. Dewsbury to put the ball into the scrimmage. The man who took it, Coombs, taken by Simon Irving and Daryl Powell, and Dewsbury coming forward, this time Cantillon in at the tackle. I don't know quite what's happened there. Two of the Dewsbury men stayed down. Cox, the hooker, for some reason stayed down, and a penalty kick has been given to Keighley. Obstruction, I suspect, is the official decision, and Simon Irving will go for goal. No question about that. No point in declining what looks like an easy 2 points. Cougars, of course, have a game on Sunday, and we'll be quite happy to cruise through the rest of this game without too much physical work. Grant Dury after that bang coming off, and Joe Berry going on as a substitute. And Simon Irving to take the kick at goal. Simon Irving coming up. The cheers tell it all that Simon has again been successful, and Keighley go 28-6 in the lead. Around about 12 minutes of play to go. Simon Irving's sixth goal. He's got a personal haul of 12 points. And the kick-off by Mark Conway from the centre spot. Andy Delaney over the 20-metre line. Martin Wood with the ball. Daryl Powell moves it out Irving gets the ball back to Critchley. Joe Buddy trying to make his presence felt as he comes on the field, and Chris Robinson play halted, centre of the field, and the Cougars quick play the ball. Robinson with the diagonal kick over the top. And the first time that Van Wyk, the full-back, has taken the ball. But Keighley up quickly, not only content to attack, but also insistent that they defend well. Two tackles gone. 28-6 the score in favour of the Cougars. And Phil Camplon making sure that David Longo doesn't make too much progress. David Larder also involved. Kick over the top by well taken by Matt Foster, did well, came racing forward, didn't shirk it, and tackled just short of the halfway line. Andy Ayres. Simon Irving coming forward, looking for Jason Critchley coming on the inside, but the tackle was there first, and Jason Critchley going on his own. 6 tackle indicated by the referee. No doubt we'll see the bomb, will we? In fact, play going on the blind side. Powell putting the short kick through, finding touch, and that means the 10-metre scrimmage, of course. Good tackle by Andrew Delaney. The crowd shouted knock on, and the touch judge acknowledged it. Quite why the referee can miss that when he's so close to it, only the referee can say. Chris Robinson to put the ball in the scrum. Nearly one against the head. Well, that really would have been something. Nearly seen everything tonight. Chris Robinson penalised for putting the ball in his own feet, and Cox for Dewsbury nearly getting one against the head. Martin Wood coming down the blind side. He'll go on his own, has no choice. 5 metres away from the try line. Andy Delaney going to have a tilt. He'd look to score to try here. Virtually lives within spitting distance of the ground, and the ball going wide. Daryl Powell moving it to Pinkney. Pinkney to Matt Foster. The full-back from South Africa does well to come up and stop Matt Foster. Read the situation well. And the forward pass given as Joe Buddy tries to make some progress. 5.5 minutes of play, of normal play left. There'll be possibly a minute of extra time, but this game coming to its conclusion. The Cougars winning comfortably by 28-6. Longo putting the ball in field. And the big number 5 North just going on his own. Well tackled by Andy Delaney, centre of the field. The position now Longo putting the kick over the top. Jason Critchley racing it, gathers the ball, just quite content to lie on it. And Keighley on their own 20-metre line for virtually the first time in this second half, been virtually non-stop attacking by Keighley. In the lead 14-6 at half-time, and now with some 4.5 minutes to go, 28-6 in the lead. So guaranteed the 2 points. And Darryl Powell putting the ball to Irving. Irving does well, comes in field, gets inside the Dewsbury half of the field. And David Larder electing to go on his own court in possession. The bomb by Chris Robinson. Well, he took it, but did a bit of a Paul Daniels juggling act with it before it finally came to rest in his arms. Well, I think he'll be delighted to see the end of the game, and I'm sure that first job Tony Fisher will have will be to give him some practice at fielding the ball. Virtually the first time Dewsbury made a break of any sort in the second half. David Longo trying to continue it. And Keighley again in at the tackle. Andy Delaney. McAllister, the substitute, going forward. Last tackle, Matt Foster. Primed, waiting. Conway puts the short kick over. And Chris Robinson jumps, bravely takes the ball. And the ball going in field to Andy Ayres. Phil Camflon trying to get away from acting halfback and not being too successful. And Joe Berry just content to get to the halfway line and hold on to the ball. Kick over the top, not the best of kicks. And no surprise to see that Shane Tapire again involved at the tackle. Longo moving the ball out wide. Knock on by Dewsbury will mean a scrum down, waste another 30 seconds or so. And the Cougars now assured of victory, just quite happy to see the game progressing towards its inevitable conclusion. Minute and a half or so of play to go. To tap his ankles as he looked a certain score. I'm sure Pinckney felt that he was over for a try. Chris Robinson puts the ball back. Simon Irving keeps hold of the ball. Darryl Powell to Martin Wood. Martin Wood making the break. Martin Wood still going on. Tackled inside the Dewsbury 20-metre. Phil Camflon. Camflon from acting halfback, still going forward. Underneath the shadow of the Dewsbury post. Darryl Powell at acting halfback. Gets the ball out to Robinson. Robinson, short ball. Obstruction is given. Dewsbury have the penalty. And Keighley, who looked as though they were going to get another 4 points, have to be content just to jog back into a defensive situation. Oh, a dreadful kick by the fullback. Van Dijk. Matt Foster miles out of position, but eventually getting away to the halfway line before he's eventually stopped. Knock on by Keighley. So the game coming to an untidy conclusion. And we are virtually into injury time now. 28-6. And the satisfactory thing, 2 points. And Fleury and David Larder both back, proving that they're fit after their injury problems. Ball going loose, but falling well as far as Dewsbury were concerned. And Chris Robinson doing well, racing through to tackle his man. Shane Tapard and Longo having a little bit of an argument. And the referee saying, for goodness sake, get on with the game. Chris Robinson down on the deck, but obviously okay, and Daryl Powell moving it out to Critchley. Critchley tackled on his own 20-metre line. Andrew Delaney coming in to take the ball. And the hooter ready to go any second now. David Larder coming steaming through, still just short of the halfway line. Joe Burry, the next man to take the ball, and he over the halfway line inside Dewsbury territory. The hooter goes, another victory for the Cougars. The final score, 28 points to 6 in favour of Keighley.